Actually, मेरे school से I don't think so कोई बच्चा एक US college भी जाता है. So I was totally alone. You get 100% financial aid. So you don't have to pay for tuition. You don't have to pay for board, rent, books, transportation. So if you get it, you don't have to worry about the fees.
That's just incredible. And on the top of that, you get free food in Harvard's dining hall, right?
Exactly.
So,
Exactly.
hi guys, this video is very, very special, and it's an honor to introduce an Harvard student from India. So, hi Rajvi, can you introduce yourself?
Hi everyone. Hi Harnoor. Thank you so much for having me on this channel. So I'm Rajveer. I'm from Patiala, India, from Punjab, and I'm a sophomore at Harvard College. I study economics, history, and statistics. And again, Harnoor, thank you so much for inviting me on this channel. It's an honor to be here.
थैंक यू सो आप अपनी जर्नी बताना आपने मतलब क्लास 11 12 में क्या लिया था तो बेसिकली आपकी 9 से लेकर इकोनॉमिक्स और फिजिक्स की जर्नी कैसी थी
So actually ninth class में like मेरा interest था कि मैंने इंडिया से बाहर जाना है like because मेरा शुरू से interest था actually like public policy, diplomacy, like that kind of stuff. But आपको पता है like एक इंडिया में it's basically sciences. Like अगर आप पढ़ने में अच्छे हो that's usually like you have to take non-medical or medical, right? So I took non-medical in like 11th and 12th. But अंदर से मेरा वही था कि मैंने end में जाके मैंने diplomacy or foreign policy इस field में जाना है. So that was the main aim like with going to the US that like वहाँ पे flexibility काफी ज़्यादा होती है. I can do like engineering and sciences with economics and history, foreign policy. So that was the goal.
Perfect. So आपने इकोनॉमिक्स को लिया फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल व्हाई यू टुक नॉन मेडिकल एंड देन यू ट्रांजिशन टू इकोनॉमिक्स एंड फिजिक्स तो वो जर्नी कैसी थी बिकॉज आई हैव नेवर सीन सच अ जर्नी टू इकोनॉमिक्स बिकॉज यूजुअली या तो कॉमर्स स्टूडेंट्स जाते हैं या आर्ट्स जाते हैं
So मेरी उस टाइम फिलोसफी यही थी मेरा था कि मैंने हार्ड वर्क करना है like हाई स्कूल में so मेरा था कि I like sciences I love the sciences but I like economics and foreign policy that kind of stuff more पर मेरा था कि मैंने हार्ड वर्क जरूर करना है स्कूल में so I just took non-medical क्योंकि I thought like it would force me to work hard and I won't slack off in high school so that was the main goal I know like अभी बहुत वो साउंड करता है कि मैंने काफी बिना सोचे समझे डिसीजन लिया था but it was fine it turned out well so
and how was your journey to Harvard कब आपने अप्लाई करना शुरू किया and कब आपको लगा that you should aim for Harvard University rather for any average US university
so definitely मैंने क्लास 10th में SAT दे दिया था एक बारी so उस टाइम 2400 में से स्कोर होता था like SAT का I got a 1940 and I was literally crying I was expecting 2200 plus and I was literally crying I was like अब मुझे कहीं एडमिशन नहीं मिलेगी वगैरह and my dad was always there he was like you can do better like अब दोबारा से try करो दोबारा से दो in grade 11 I took the SAT again I got a 1480 उस टाइम मुझे था कि बस हो गया मेरा like 1480 मेरा टॉप स्कोर है इससे ऊपर जाएगा नहीं but my dad was like give it again you can do better and you can go to the top universities like I know you have the potential so grade 12 में मैंने एक और बारी SAT दिया and this time I got a 1580 and I was overjoyed. I think that definitely like helped my application. Like 1480 or 1580 में बहुत फर्क है like college admissions chances में. And when I got a 1580, I was like, okay, I think I should like aim for the top colleges like Ivy League, that kind of schools. I think so. Going to Harvard was the first time I went to the US. So I was born in India. I was raised in India. Like going to a totally different country from a school in Patiala to Harvard University. Like classes का जो academic level था totally different, right? I mean, school में yes, non-medical was tough, but Harvard, आपको पता है जो Harvard की classes हैं, it's very competitive, and it's just not like it's academically competitive, but it's also socially competitive. So everyone's super ambitious, everyone wants that internship, everyone wants to be ahead. So getting used to it, it took a bit of time. Like first semester, it was basically like हो क्या रहा है यहाँ पे, समझ नहीं आ रहा क्या हो रहा है, सबको internships मिल रही हैं, मुझे कुछ भी नहीं मिल रहा. Like first semester was that, but I think I adapted quite quickly and I think I've grown a better person now so I'm very happy with the entire journey.
Wow, incredible.
One thing that shocked me in the US was that people don't place as much importance on grades. So definitely grades are important but for every single internship interview no one asked me about my grades. They were more about like what are your interests? Do you have practical experience? What are your extracurricular activities? But they just assume that you must be a good student. So I think people should care about their grades, but they're not like, if you don't get an A in every class, you don't have to get an A in every class. You're still good.
Wow, and that's also a perfect example. जैसे आपने बताया that in this pandemic situation, they've also made most of the classes, even pretty much all the classes, as pass and fail, right?
Yeah, so अभी फीलिंग आ रही है कि पूरा सेमेस्टर की जो मेहनत थी सारी पानी में गई, क्योंकि मैंने फर्स्ट हाफ बहुत हार्ड वर्क किया एंड देन सडनली दे वर लाइक इट्स जस्ट पास फेल, आपको पास मिलेगा या फेल मिलेगा. एंड राइट नाउ आई हैव जीरो मोटिवेशन टू स्टडी. I don't know if that's healthy, but क्या करें.
And so do you think like कि जो हमारे Indian education system के according जो हमारा competitive non-medical होता है, जैसे आपने कहा you got 95% in all of them, so like was Harvard experience more competitive than that? Because I have heard that IITJ is the most competitive exam, one of the most competitive in the world. So is it more competitive than that at Harvard?
So I would say school के exams का क्या होता है कि अगर आप reasonably intelligent हो तो आप एग्जाम्स के 10 दिन पहले आप पढ़ाई शुरू करो एंड यू कैन गेट 95% प्लस. दैट्स नॉट हार्ड. हार्वर्ड में क्या है कि इफ यू डोंट स्टडी एवरी डे देन लिटरली यू विल गेट अ डी और सी ग्रेड एंड में. सो इट्स हार्ड, but it's basically आपको एक रूटीन में सेट फिट करता है. लाइक दे फोर्स यू टू लाइक स्टडी एवरी डे. सो 5 hours every day. If you don't do that, like आप सबसे पीछे रह गए. स्कूल में ऐसा नहीं था. स्कूल में ऐसा था कि पूरा साल पढ़े नहीं और एग्जाम से 10 दिन पहले आपने किताबें खोली और लाइक रट्टा मारना शुरू किया और एंड में आपने एग्जाम नंबर ले लिए. So it doesn't work like that there.
And what were the extracurricular achievements you had which kind of boosted your profile?
I think जो like हर application में एक hook होता है, right? Like मेरे academics बिल्कुल सही थे. Like I had 95% plus all 4 years. I had a good SAT score, but I think the thing that definitely boosted my application was a blog website I made in grade 11. So it was all about foreign affairs. I wrote 100 plus articles about like foreign affairs, that kind of stuff. My website got 700,000 views in like a year. And some of my articles were published in like newspapers, like DNA, Z News, that kind of stuff. So I think that definitely helped my application. So like सारे interviews में सारे हैरान थे. They were like, आपको 700,000 views मिले कैसे? We love your articles. Like, so I think that was what boosted my application. And other than that, like I had like debating achievements. I play the guitar. I like do like 100-meter sprint, like मेरा event था. So I do all that stuff. But I think my blog and website that really set me up.
Wow, that's exceptional.
Like, what about national and sports achievements? Like, what made you an all-rounder to be at Harvard?
So 11th class से पहले मैंने sports ज़्यादा की नहीं थी. Everyone was like, आप इतने slim हो, like you should run, like you have the perfect body for like sprinting athletics, but I never did that. Grade 11 में मैंने actually try out किए school team के लिए, sports के लिए. So I clocked the 100-meter sprint in like 11.8 seconds, which is really, really good. And then I kept on practicing, and I actually like broke the Punjab state record for 100-meter sprint eventually. So I think I wrote that in my application. Also, I did debating. So I went to like schools all across India. So there's ICSE holds the Frank Anthony debating competition. I was the chair for that. So, and I think my essays and my recommendations, I think that was everything.
And now, most importantly, did you get any financial aid from Harvard? Because Harvard gives need-based scholarship.
So Harvard is very, very generous with financial aid. So if your parents or your family earns less than $65,000 a year, which is around 45 lakh rupees, you get 100% financial aid. So you don't have to pay for tuition, you don't have to pay for board, rent, books, transportation. So if you get it, you don't have to worry about the fees. Don't worry about it.
That's just incredible. And on the top of that, you get free food in Harvard's dining hall, right?
Exactly. It's amazing.
That's so amazing. And I can't forget the moment, like I spent 2 hours in Harvard's dining hall, and if you get like free perks for all like 4 years, that's even incredible.
Yeah. So I saw your video, and that's the Annenberg Dining Hall. So that's for only first year students. So like sophomores, juniors, and seniors, they have their own like house dining halls. So they're like, I think 13 houses, and each house has its own dining hall.
Incredible. And what's your overall like best part of Harvard, best experience, and what makes Harvard unique to you?
I would just say the brilliance of my classmates and the people I live with. It's insane. Like, one of my best friends, he worked at NASA. Like, he's working on the Mars Curiosity rover. It's crazy. मेरा एक और दोस्त है, like, we were sitting in the dining hall, and one day, like, this friend walks in, he's like, US Defense Department से 2 बंदे आएंगे, and just उनको मेरे बारे में बता देना. I was like, क्यों वहाँ से क्यों आएंगे? He was like, I need a top secret security clearance, and he's working on like Lockheed Martin's top secret weapons division stuff. So like, and every day living, eating, and studying with these people, it's insane. I think that's the best part about Harvard.
Wow. And on the top of that, infrastructure, like the classes are so close to your housing, walk karke jana, it's just an incredible experience, right? Overall, like
so like the first year students, like they live in the yard. So I saw your video. So in the yard, like all the dormitories, they live in the yard. But like upperclassmen, they live further away. So it's like a 15-minute walk from my housing to my classes.
And throughout your profile, आपने किसी external company से या किसी भी मतलब consultancy से help ली थी, जैसे कि मतलब SAT के लिए SAT training के लिए tuition classes या फिर SS के लिए कोई consultancy?
So actually yes. So Chandigarh में I went to the Princeton Review. They really helped me with the SAT, like they did SAT coaching there. I think it was very helpful, honestly. But you don't have to go to a consultancy, or you don't have to go to an SAT coaching class. Like अब online Khan Academy or YouTube पे काफी आपको lessons मिल जाएंगे. I think उनकी quality is far better than like in-person coaching, honestly. So it really helped me. But even if I like, I didn't have to go there. So for for essays and stuff like that, I went to a center in Delhi. They really helped me like brainstorm different topics. But like still, I think. And मैं मुझे ही लिखना पड़ा, and it was those were my words, and they really helped me with that. But I think you don't have to go to a consultancy center for like any help.
And what do you think that was the most important section in your profile that got you into Harvard? Was that the SAT score, SAT subject score, AP exams, or like IB tests you took, or your essays, or your letters of recommendation, or overall, or your achievement?
So I would say academics, they form the base of your application. So if you don't have like good academic scores, you don't have a good SAT score, they won't even open your application. So you have to have good academic scores. But once you have good academic scores, they forget about that. They're like, ठीक है, आपके 90% plus number आ रहे हैं, आपके 1500 plus SAT में आया, like it's okay, you are academically qualified to be at Harvard. अब उसके बाद, what sets you apart? So they look at your essays, your recommendations, your interviews, that kind of stuff, right? So again, I think the thing that set me apart was my website. My articles there, like my interviews loved the articles. My entire interview was about the articles I wrote there. So I had a 1-hour interview. We basically talked about my interest for foreign affairs, public policy, and she basically just read my articles, and I had to like answer questions like what I was thinking about when I was writing this article. So it was basically that. I spent a lot of time on my essays. I spent like 5 or 6 months on my essays. So definitely they were good. I think that's it. Yeah.
So how many layers, in what layers you wrote your essay? You first wrote with the guidance from the consultancy. So कौन से sources थे जिनसे आपने मतलब verify कराए? मतलब was it like you sent your like application to another Harvard student to like see, or you just compared yourself?
So I knew no one who went to Harvard. मैं पटियाला से हूँ. Like actually मेरे school से I don't think so कोई बच्चा एक US college भी जाता है. So I was totally alone. Like my parents and my teachers supported me, but I was all alone basically. So initially I wrote the essays myself, and then I went to the consultancy. I was like, just look at the essays, and they were basically like, कि आपकी voice कैसे बाहर निकालनी है? Like, what are you thinking about? How can we improve this? So they basically helped me with brainstorming stuff, that kind of stuff. But I had to write the essays myself, and I had to like polish them myself.
एक और myth भी होता है कि like you have to give Olympiads to get into Harvard or to MIT. So आपने कोई Olympiads दिए थे, उसमें कोई ranking थी आपकी?
So I was not science focused. That's like definitely I love sciences, but I was not the computer science student. Like I didn't give any Olympiads. And I think it's totally false to say that you have to give Olympiads to get into MIT or Harvard. I think for MIT that's kind of true. Like in the past 3 or 4 years, like many Indian students who went to MIT, they actually got ranks in international Olympiads. But for Harvard is a liberal arts institution. So they care about your overall profile. So I think, honestly, if I applied this year, I might not get into Harvard. So it also depends on luck. So I would just say people should apply and don't get scared with the low acceptance rate. This year, Harvard had a 4% acceptance rate. I know that's very low, but still apply. You never know, you might get in.
I absolutely agree. It was a pleasure having you, Rajbir. Thank you so much for your valuable knowledge. And we will be doing a live session on Instagram. So definitely connect with us at 7 p.m. IST today. So we will see you then. So, yeah.
All right. Sarnoot, thank you so much for having me here. And for your audience, I would love to see you all at 7 p.m. IST for the Instagram Live. I will answer all of your questions. And stay home, stay safe.